State Representative. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Lynne.
Thanks for having me, Lawrence. I've looked forward to it.
Well, you know, your situation fascinates me. I've worked in the Senate. I've seen people in these kinds of situations, and I know it's difficult. But when you made that choice to cast that vote in 2004, and you say now that you knew it was the wrong vote then, what did it feel like? What was the story you told yourself about why you were casting the vote that way?
It took me 3 tries to be elected to the Minnesota legislature, 98, 2000, and 2002. And my philosophy was that I can't swing at any pitches if I'm not in the game. And I really believed that there were probably other votes prior to that one and afterwards that I would want to be able to contribute by being there. And I guess I told myself that if my endorsement were truly in jeopardy, which, by the way, I didn't believe it was, but other people around me felt very strongly about that. And I'm not blaming anyone, but I guess I caved and just really believed that I could justify it from that standpoint, that plenty of people before me have taken politically expedient votes. This probably won't be the last. I'll just swallow hard and move on.
Let's talk about another thing that always comes up in these situations, and President Clinton, in effect, pointed to it in his op-ed piece in which he talks about the Defense of Marriage Act that he signed. That in the Senate, for example, on that vote, there are only 14 senators who voted against it in the United States Senate. Everybody knew that at the time. Everyone knew it was going to pass, which is to say, everyone knew that no individual vote mattered. And that was the case in your situation. There were 88 votes for it when you voted for it. You knew it was going to pass. You knew that your individual vote in this was not going to affect the outcome. And that is one of the things that senators and congressmen and legislators lean on all the time when they are voting against their consciences or against what they know to be the better vote.
Well, I agree with you. They do it all the time. It doesn't make it right. My friendships suffered because of my vote. My own conscience suffered dramatically. I mean, I was sick for 2 days before that vote. I was hoping that we didn't even have to take that vote. It was the constitutional question: should we put it on the ballot and try to write it into Minnesota law? Which 10 years later, just about, we voted that down. I'm proud of that Minnesota citizens looked at that again this fall, because legislators did vote to put it on the ballot. It was wrong, I think, 9 years ago, and I think it was still wrong. Voting in that circumstance, not just for me, but I think for our state, and I'm really hopeful now for our nation, that people will recognize that we shouldn't be discriminating, and we shouldn't have laws on the books that discriminate against our friends, our neighbors, our fellow citizens.
And what you did yesterday in Minnesota is something I've never seen. It wasn't just a public apology for a vote, but you did it in that body that you used to work in. What was it like to go back in there in that role and tell them what you had to tell them?
It was very freeing. The emotion came because it literally occurred to me as I sat down, this is a public apology. I was there to say, trust me when I tell you that you can vote your conscience and your own compass and you'll be okay. I should have done it. I regretted that I didn't do it. It was very liberating, quite honestly.
Lynne Osterman, cannot thank you enough for joining us.